Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the In Balance, Balance and Movement podcast. I'm Coach Mike, and we are on here talking a little bit about balance, a little bit about play, a little bit about business, a little bit about fun. Last couple times that we've met here, we've talked a little bit about starting a cash-based business. And today we're going to talk a little bit more of some movement practice and things that are related to balance and stability. We've had a lot of really great feedback about our podcast, whether it being business related or whether it being about the fitness or medical side of things. But in balance is really what we are at our core. And I want to touch on that a little bit today. What I want to focus on today is a little bit about self-assessment. Something that I've been talking about a lot recently has been staying in our own lane personally. You are responsible for yourself as far as your health, as far as your fitness, as far as your balance. No one's going to do it except for you. So, what I like to tell people is, take responsibility for that. Use health as an opportunity to take ownership of you and your body. So what does that look like? In the balance, it's how stable am I? So what we like to do is do a little bit of a self-assessment. So while you're in a safe place, whether that be a bathroom or whether that be a hallway, somewhere where you can put your arms out and have a door or a wall, I just want you to stand feet together, arms in, and just lift your knee up. All right. We're looking for, you don't have to be quite at the hip height, but lifting your knee up out in front of your body, and just ask yourself, how does that feel? Be honest with yourself. Do you feel a little bit more wobbly than you might have expected? Do you feel more stable than you would have expected? When you switch sides from your left to your right, do you feel a little bit more successful on your non-dominant side than on your dominant side? And just try and, be aware of your body in those moments and actually ask yourself a couple of those different questions. All right. I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 based off of how many seconds you were able to do without your arms coming out to the side. So if you were able to do 10 seconds solid without having to flail your arms out to the side, give yourself a 10, and then you can kind of move on to the next stage there. So we kind of build these in stages. That's going to be like me personally. That's going to be like one of the first steps there is to ask yourself how you feel from a 10 to 20 second, period of time. And a lot of people might find that this is a little bit more challenging than you might think. Even if you do play a sport or you consider yourself an athlete, a lot of times we don't spend more than a few seconds, on a single leg. Although we do spend the majority of our time on a single leg when we are walking around, whether that be upstairs or whether that be in stride. The majority of those situations actually have you be on one leg at a given time for the majority of that period. However, you might not be on one leg for a longer period of time, like we're challenging you to do so. In the imbalance practice, one thing that we talk about is maybe you can integrate this into your daily movement practice. Doesn't have to be in fitness, doesn't have to be in a gym or in any organized sport. It could just be out in your regular everyday life. So one example that we use is, if you're standing in a long line at the grocery store, you could be playing around on one leg and you have your shopping cart there to get a quick touch point, whether you need to restabilize yourself, but just kind of practicing this and integrating this, into your daily life. And a lot of my clients have found really, really good success and improvements in just doing this as a daily practice. Maybe once in the morning, once in the evening. I'm getting some really good feedback. So I want you to give that a try and see how you feel. We're going to be on here every Tuesday, sometime between 3 and 7:15. Typically, we're shooting for evenings now for these talks, whether it be business or stability. But keep the stuff coming as far as what you want to hear on the particular podcast. And we've been getting some really good questions of people who want to hear more stuff about business as well as fitness. Regardless of what it is, shoot us some questions, and we would love to address them directly. So give that a try. Some self-assessment. I think it's really important that some people think about staying in your lane of what you are capable of. A lot of times people a little bit overshoot what they're able to do or quote unquote outkick their coverage, from a fitness perspective. But if you can't stand on one leg, You should be asking yourself why you should be doing some of these other exercises or tasks that you might be doing currently. That might not be the safest thing necessarily for you. So think about that. Think about how you can kind of start from the ground up and build a really strong base, really, really strong foundation. And that's what we're about here at Imbalance, improving performance, improving your life. And, thanks for listening. Look forward to talking to you guys next time.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. James Spencer. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to share my story of how I started a cash-based business. Thank you for investing in yourself first off. Truly, that is what starting and running a cash-based business is all about. With some hard work, this investment will provide you the freedom to be your own boss and create a sustainable work-life balance relationship. A mentor of mine and many of my other friends is Gary Vee. He always states, start the side hustle. The marketing guru promoted the idea of starting a side business while at your current job and how you could eventually grow into that full-time work. I was working as an associate in a chiropractic office, and I decided to start a kettlebell training group on the weekends. I was so nervous to ask people for money in exchange for my services. When I first started, I was offering $25 for small group kettlebell training and $75 for private one-on-ones, but I was still so nervous to ask for money. That's because I had an unhealthy relationship with money. My family didn't have an abundance of money when I was growing up. I knew I had to change this concept in my head if I was going to start charging more and having the confidence to charge more. Thankfully, one of my clients started paying me $150 for private. He said, "Your value that you're providing me exceeds the $75. And one of the best quotes that he shared with me was, "What's in your bank account is not what's in your client's bank account." This statement really opened my eyes. You'll learn more about this in the PDF and this small presentation. Remember, the side hustle will become your business. When I was an associate, my good friend and mentor, Mike Jones, he was the guru behind my logos, my website, and a lot of my social media. He said, "Doc, this is the time that you need to start creating a brand. The brand will morph into what you want it to be when you take this side hustle and turn it into a full-time job." So eventually I started training enough clients and making enough money that it started to exceed what I was getting paid as a chiropractic associate. So I decided to turn this cash-based business into a full-time job. And thankfully at that time, I had a brand to simply implement. I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. I didn't even know what an LLC was or how it protected any of us as clinicians or coaches. I've hired many business coaches to help guide me on this journey. I've learned a lot about myself as a person, a clinician, a coach, and a leader. I've also spent nearly $100,000 to learn what I'm going to share with you guys next. Some important factors when starting your own business. I think these key concepts will help you expedite what you're looking to achieve.